deleted. So please save a copy of this if you see fit, because it is what it is. I think it's kind of funny at this point. So if you're just joining us and you haven't already, go to my TikTok page. There are 2 new TikToks that you will need for today. The first one is a copy of the meditation. I just put a new copy of the guided meditation, the group meditation we're going to do today, because the first one had an error in the sound. So the second one, the newest one, use that one, and then the handouts, okay? If you don't get to it now, you can do it later. But anyway, so everybody, we're going to go ahead. We'll wait a couple more minutes because there's a couple people that I know that are coming that I haven't seen yet. So all right. This is going to be so awesome. I can't even stand it. So while we're waiting a couple more minutes, guys, we're just going to start now. All right. So moving forward, this week I had an opportunity to do a QHHT session with Miss Opalstar. Thank you so much for that. They actually showed me specific things in that session, like visualizations, that led to what I'm going to teach you today in this class. And so it's mind-blowing because I pieced it together halfway, but it brought me the full circle. So Thomasina, thank you so much, because honestly, this is a different level now. Hang on one second. Hey, we have some background noise. So here's what we're going to do today, guys. All right. The guided meditation is going to be what it's all about today. These classes are going to have a little bit of a different shift, okay? So far in these classes, I've been focusing most strongly on the actual technical knowledge, because like we've repeated every single week, the stronger understanding that you have, right? So your belief system has 2 components, right? There's an electric component and a magnetic component. The electric component is awareness. So you learn information, right? However, what really roots it into your system for it to become a belief is the magnetic component, okay? Awareness is what you see with your eyes, but the magnetic component is understanding, all right? It's when you understand that you're able to anchor the belief as a whole and then utilize that knowledge as power, your own magnetic, electromagnetic, source of energy and power from that knowledge. So that's why you hear in all the, Christmas movies for kids, seeing isn't believing, because seeing is just being aware of the electrical, right? You need to understand before it develops a magnetic charge, which is the source of power for the awareness. So it's understanding and awareness is what anchors it as a belief, all right? And so having said that, we're at a point now, we talked about this last week, we're at a point now where we have hit a threshold. Okay, you can think of it as equivalent to your heart chakra. All right, we've hit a threshold that now we have enough knowledge built up that now we're over the threshold. The difference between the lower threshold, the lower cube, right, the 2 stacked cubes we talked about that surround our aura last week, the difference between the bottom cube and the top cube is the physical chakras and the spiritual chakras, right? So once we move into this up here, now we're dealing with the magnetic energy. Down here is the electric energy, all right? We have built up enough of that awareness that we now have an understanding. Once we cross this path, we're in this upper cube, which is where we're at, we don't need to worry so much anymore about working within the boundaries of what is currently right now, because we understand it. We understand it enough to that now we're in the top cube where we deal with magnetism. And magnetism is creative life force. That's what we have. That's the equivalent of spirit. You know how we talk about spirit or Eeyore, the star? That is what it's all about. And so once we get to this point, what's beautiful now is that we don't have to work within the boundaries of all this information anymore. We've crossed that path, and now we can take that and use it creatively to create our own. So that was a long way of saying, basically, we're going to shift the focus in these classes so that we are going to be more creatively focused moving forward. We're going to still utilize the information that we learned, absolutely. But now we're going to make it our own. And that's what today is about. So this first group meditation, so here's a couple things. You can expect a lot of group meditations. And I'm going to tell you why we're going to be doing group meditations and why it's important to make sure you come to as many as you possibly can if you want to. This is all going to be practice leading up to a very big day this year. Okay. We'll get to that down the road. I'm going to explain all of it to you. I'm going to explain some of the technicalities after we do this first group meditation. So let's talk about the group meditation. Okay, shows you're not live. Well, Mary's having a hard time getting in. Can somebody? Oh, there she is. She's on now. Hey, Mary, you got on. Okay. So we are. Mary, shoot me a text if you want to come on with me. We're gonna start the group meditation here in a second, and then Opal Star is gonna lead it. So. Here's what this meditation is about today. So everybody saw the TikTok, right? Everybody cut your foot loose. How I did not put that together before when we were talking about the Hanged Man card in tarot is beyond me, right? So let's review kind of where we're at up until this point. All right, earlier this year, one of the more significant events that we had was the St. Elmo's Fire activation, right? That is where we used the tools that we have, right? Which is our hands and our feet, okay? Ka, Ku, Ur, and R, all right? And that's in the handout. So if you haven't gotten the handout, make sure you get that TikTok. There's going to be stuff in there that makes it a lot easier to follow. And with those, what we did was we readjusted our energy template for Earth, right? So that Earth having a new octagram versus a dodecagram allows us to align that with Earth, and then what we can do is pull up that Earth energy, which is what we call St. Elmo's Fire. St. Elmo's Fire is blue fire. The blue fire is spirit. Red fire is a copy of spiritual fire. Red fire being etheric, an etheric copy. So by bringing that up from the earth into our feet, into our bodies, St. Elmo's Fire, we broke off all of the knots or nails that we had in our body and around Gar, the rune that we used to do that as a tool. So now, what next? So St. Elmo's Fire, we primarily used, you could think of it as being equivalent as using our hands, all right? Our hands is what we use in terms of tools to interact our consciousness inside with the outer world, all right? So our hands is all about do, okay, in terms of interaction. Do for ourself, though, is our feet. All right, so this group meditation today is moving from, okay, now we have St. Elmo's Fire in us, right? We brought up the blue fire into us. That's the blue fire of spirit. And what we do with it now is we do the next step, which is activation of our feet, all right? So if your hands are Raido, right, which is singing sound that equivalates with the upper chakras, the lower chakras now are your feet, and that is Raido with dancing. That's why Footloose, it's all about dancing, okay? last week we talked about the word rain, R-A-I-N, and R-E-I-G-N, right? And I thought it was really fitting that the main character of Footloose has a really funny name. His name is Ren, R-E-N. But if you pronounce the E the way it's supposed to, as the sound A, the lead character's name is Rain. What is rain? Rain is a drop of water that has had the fishtail cut off. So, let me turn this around now. Hang on 1 second. We're gonna get into this bad boy. All right, switch. Oh, good Lord, how do they, you know what, if they change this one more time, honestly. Here we go. All right. Okay. All right, so rain, a drop of rain, right? A drop of rain is the same thing as the northern fish of Pisces. Oh no, can you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see. Okay, let me get a marker that works. The same thing as a northern fish of Pisces that drops back into us, right? With the tail cut off. All right? Why the tail cut off? Well, when you look at the different pictures of Pisces, all right, the drawings, you'll have one fish here, and then there's feathers around the tail, and then you see this, and then the other fish is here. There's my heart again. Oh boy, Mary, it hasn't gotten any better. So, and it looks like this, right? But why are they tied around the tail? Because the tail is their weak spot, and if they pull too hard, they'll destroy themselves. I want to bring your attention to something called Prince Rupert's Drop. It is a piece of glass. It is when you pour molten glass into cold water and it cools very quickly, and it forms a drop that looks like this, with a really long, thin tail, okay? If you bend or apply pressure anywhere up on the tail, the entire thing shatters. The entire thing. If you melt the tail down so that it is just a drop of rain, this is indestructible and they can't figure out why. Literally, you could put it in between a machine that does one of these bad boys and it will not break. It's indestructible, unstoppable, invincible. You get where I'm going with it? All right, rain. So, Footloose. Everybody cut your foot loose. Everybody cut your foot loose so that we can be like Ren, the main character. Okay? That's what we're doing today. That's the idea behind it. We'll get into this more. There's more to it that's very important. It leads us up to September 21st of this year, the fall equinox, which also happens to be my birthday. Weird, right? Okay. Now, all right, so having said all of that stuff, I'm going to twist you guys back around again because all right. So now, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to walk through the lyrics, okay? As you guys know, the words of songs and words in general, letters, sounds, is extraordinarily important, all right? So the lyrics that we are going to meditate to, I have altered just slightly. When there was a situation where I could not identify the meaning or the root syllables vibrational function, so I replaced it with one that sounded similar that I did understand the meaning or function. So if everybody can go ahead and grab your copy of the live group class meditation, and just follow along with me, okay? So we're going to, or you can pull up just the actual lyrics of Footloose. All right, so I'm going to go through this live meditation, and I'm going to walk you through it so that you know what to visualize and what to do in your mind when we're doing the meditation. All right, so actually everyone grab out your live class group meditation. The latest one that I just put on to my page, that's the one we want because it has the right audio. The first one messed up somehow. All right, so on this TikTok, the live class group meditation TikTok, it starts out with a symbol, okay? This symbol, what it is this is a Lemurian symbol, all right? There are 8 Stargate symbols for Lemuria, all right, that correlate with our chakras, all right? There is north, south, east, and west, the 4 directions, and then there is above, below, within, and then the key that activates all of them. This first symbol, this is the key that activates all of them, all right? It's a collective symbol that puts all of the other Stargate symbols into one. So this is basically like your skeleton key, okay? So I'm going to refer to that as the Stargate Oracle key, okay? So what we do first is we visualize this opening up access to all of our Stargates, all right? The Stargate that we're going to be working with today for this meditation is the South Stargate, all right? The Southern Stargate is where you enter into the vortex. You enter into the circle, okay? Lemurians, they refer to this as the way of the circle or the laughing way, all right? You saw me posting about the laughing place. So this connects with this. You enter into the circle through the south. The south is called the laughing place, all right? Why is it called the laughing place? We discussed this a little bit. So one of the things that I found out that the CIA and other people who would teach remote viewing and astral projection, what they would do, they get everybody into a room that they wanted to astral project or remote view, and they laughed their asses off. That raises your frequency. So before you do the first step of utter silence, you go to the laughing place. The laughing place is in the south. So this is where you always start. You go from the south to the west to the north to the east. That correlates with what we did last week with learning the elementals around Ingwaz, right? And Gar. We're not going to get back into that, but you realize that this moves in a different direction. All right, so live group meditation, you visualize with your any creative way, using the Stargate Oracle to unlock the South Stargate, okay? The South Stargate, you go inside of the circle. So you can just imagine the circle as the inner part of your cylinder, okay? So now, walking through this. So as the song starts, you'll see that the Stargate Oracle symbol, and then it will move and it'll show the upside down Rido, all right? That's because Rido is the southern vibration or the southern gate that we're going to enter into this space together, all right? The reason we use this, guys, is because, number one, this is all of the spiritual blue fire, St. Elmo's fire. This is where it's stored, all right? Inside of the circle, we enter in the south. So all of us meditating that we go here together, we actually do go here together. And this is what makes the group meditation so special, okay? So once we are in there, then you can visualize, you could see in the TikTok that I made, there's the intro part where it's all music. It's this, and it looks like you're flying through, like a tunnel or something. Use your imagination and make it fun for yourself, okay? Then we start into the lyrics. All right, so I'm going to walk you through the lyrics really quickly to point out specific things to make this more meaningful. All right. So after you fly through the southern gate and you're inside of the circle, I want you to think inside of a cylinder, all right? We're all going to be entering a cylinder together, all right? So just like all of our auras, we're inside of a cylinder, right, that has a cube around it at the top and at the bottom with mirrors. Envision that inside of a circle means a circle like this around our bodies, all right? But we're inside of a cylinder. So there is a ceiling, which is a circle, perfect circle. There's the ground, which is another perfect circle. And around us, the walls, is the cylinder, all right? The way you get into the cylinder is, this is the key. Use this key however you think. If you think of shooting it out of your head or your heart, and then it lets you in, whatever, all right? And then this will pop up, which is the door that lets you in. Go through this into the door to get into our cylinder for today, all right? You're flying through the south, and then we start with the lyrics. Been working so hard, I'm punching my card. Card, C-A-R-D. Let's break that word down. On the TikTok, there's a big rhino, and it says, I'm punching my... Let me flip this. I'm going to flip it around. So you guys remember Ka? It's a line, right? And it goes like this. Ka. It is the right hand. Ka. I'm punching my Ka, Rhino, car, Dagas, day. I'm punching my card, all right? Those specific runes and the meanings behind those runes are all relevant to this. I'm punching my card. 8 hours for what? Oh, tell me what I got. I've got this feeling that time is just holding me down. Okay, when we go to that part, there is a huge Dagas. Okay, Dagas is this guy that is in the background. Dagas stands for day. Dagas also means time. So I'm going to turn this back around again because I'm going to want everyone to be clear with this. All right. So one of the first things I saw in my QHHT session this week with Miss Opalstar was this. When we started the session, the very first thing I saw, guys. So here's our good old zodiac wheel, right? So up here, you guys all know this. This is the fire abyss. This is Ophiuchus. This is Orion. And this is the water abyss. Up here, I'm just going to put the fixed signs. We have Cancer, we have Aries, we have Libra, and we have Capricorn. Okay? What I saw, so now Dagas, day or time, right? He says time is holding me down. Time is holding me down. So does time have something to do with gravity? Yeah, it does. All those songs about flying, I Can Fly, Breakaway, Unstoppable, it all meshes into what we're doing today. I'm going to show you how. So here's how I saw Dagas. The way Dagas is made is it joins the Stargate. So you can see it leaves a part of this circle out. Okay, so there's Dagas in there. This is time, okay? What I saw was an arrow, okay, shooting from the east to the west. And the arrow shot at this west wall of Libra, or this west wall of Dagas. So what I saw was this, an arrow, or Tiwaz, that looked like this. And I realized, okay, they're telling me to shoot an arrow. Now remember, what is an arrow? There's different kinds of arrows. The sunlight are rays. Those rays are electromagnetic arrows, right? That carry information, energy and information. There is the arrows that we shoot with our eyes that are electric, right? Electric arrows are the ones that the invisible arrows of your voice, right? Remember the movie Contact? They teach her at the end that about a weapon, and they finally figure out the weapon is language. Words are weapons that cut us sometimes, right? So those are magnetic. Sound, your voice, throat chakra is magnetic. This is where the magic's at, baby. This is where the magic's at, magnetic. So when you use your eyes to shoot an arrow of photons with your voice that creates a magnetic field, now you have an electromagnetic arrow that the electric component, the electric arrow tells it where to go, and you tell it where to go by holding your focus, your attention on the target. And then the magnetic part, what you speak, is the power that does whatever you want to do to the target, okay? So I knew that by shooting it this way, which is electric, and it's electromagnetic because it's both, it's what I just explained. The Tiwaz arrow, I'm supposed to break this, the western wall. I'm sorry, I'm draining. So why is that? Well, now I know exactly why that is, okay? We're gonna get into it a little bit because this is what's gonna blow everyone's minds. I'll give you a hint to look forward to. So Libra is right here, right? Libra is also called the scales. Okay? We also call something a scale that we weigh ourselves on to find out how much we weigh, how much gravity is pulling on us. We stand on a scale. Does that mean the west is the ground? It does. The west is the ground. The east is the ceiling inside of this cylinder that we're going to be in. Okay? The Kelly Clarkson song, I'll spread my wings and learn how to fly. I'll do what it takes till I touch the sky. I'll take a risk, I'll take a chance, and break away. Break away. Break. Break away. Break the scales on the ground under our feet. Everybody cut your foot loose. You guys won't believe this. Okay, so moving on. So time is just holding us down from here. All right. I'll hit the ceiling, he says. I'll hit the ceiling. The ceiling is the top of the cylinder we're all going to be in, okay? Collectively, we're going to go into this meditation as what we do collectively in here to this cylinder is going to be reflected in all of us, okay? And the way that works is that whatever's done to this cylinder will happen to all of our cylinders, our auras, okay? Which is exactly what we want to do because we're going to change the structure and the vibration because we're going to cut our foot loose. I apologize about the clearing throat. I'll hit the ceiling or else I'll tear up this town. Did you guys see this video that I did about, there was a man, this was back in the 90s. There was a man talking about how star seeds that were born in the 70s and 80s are here because they don't play, basically, okay? And when they don't play, he's like, if you corner them, they will, their animal selves. This is also the man that talked about the difference between man and human, right? When I saw that for the first time, everything went together because Mary told me that my name is Hu, H-U. Well, the reason that made a lot of sense to me when he said that Hu, man are two different things is because the bull man that was in my room when I was 3 years old, when I asked it what it was, he told me the truth. I'm a man. That is my etheric twin, the bull man, which is why you corner me or I'm not able to break loose, I'll tear up this town. Awesome. Okay, now we get into the first chorus. Okay. I have it on mute on purpose. Now I gotta cut loose my foot loose. If we remember back, guys, to the Hanged Man card, okay? The foot that we are interested in is our right foot. The left foot hangs in the air so that the sole of your foot, which directly accesses your soul, S-O-U-L, is exposed to the sun and the moon. No good. That's how the sun and the moon energy comes up through our root chakra, all right? I'm not sure if anything's supposed to go in our crown chakra in terms of just talking about this earth energy, okay? I think that they've tricked us into bringing stuff down into our crown chakra in this. I'm only talking about in this situation. I'm not talking about everything, all right? Because we have that one foot dangling and it goes up through that foot. That's how the sun and moon energy get into our system, through our left foot, not our crown. Okay, but anyway, I digress. So what we're focusing on is our right foot, all right? That's the foot we're gonna cut loose. Okay, now before I go into this next part, do you guys remember when we did St. Elmo's fire? Okay, what we were doing was burning up knots or removing nails, right? Knots and nails can be one and the same. Those nails we removed with our hammer being our hands, right? The right hand was the hammer that drives nails in. The left hand was the tooth part of the hammer that pulls nails out, all right? That hammer, or your left hand, or the back, the teeth part of the hammer that pulls the nails out is Ku. Wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, Ku, K-U. That is the fish. That's why at the end we stuck our left hand up in the air to catch that northern fish of Pisces, drop back into our hands, and we put it back into our hearts. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing with this, except we're not going to use our hands. We're going to use the same things on our feet, which is R, A-R, and Ur, U-R. A-R is the arrow or the eagle, and U-R is the bull, all right? The bull is where the money is at. I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to explain why he is a lot more significant than we thought before. Just with the horns and all that, there's the bull, everything, it all revolves around the bull. Okay, so now the next line, kick off my Sunday shoes. Okay, so what's up with the spelling, John? The sun, S-O-N, is the etheric being that calls himself God. He's also the etheric being that calls himself the devil. It's the same person. So this S-O-N is not the same as S-U-N. S-U-N is our sun, where the rays come out of, right? This is the S-O-N that runs things from underneath the ground. We'll get to that later. But for now, what Sunday shoes mean is sun is soilo. All right? They say that this is S-U-N. They're able to do that through resonance of sound. S-O-N sounds the same as S-U-N. All right? Sun, soilo, which is the sun rays that have all of the hammers in them that we learned last week. That's not the sun rays that we want, right? That's what burns us and makes us sick. And then day is dagas, right? Dagas, back to this, is time. So, if we just said, where's my eraser? Oh, eraser! So if we just said that the west is the ground, let's redraw here what we're talking about, right? This is on the handout, guys, this part. And this is a new concept, so that's why I wanted to make sure I had a handout. So we're going to draw Dagas this way. These damn markers. Okay, Dagas. Now, around Dagas, I'm going to draw the rest of the cylinder. Okay, this means this is what we're looking at. Okay, this is the whole, this is, right, this is what we're looking at from its side. Do you realize what this is yet from last week? Last week, we said that out on the outside of our cylinder, we had stacked cubes, right? This is the bottom half, your physical chakras, the top half, your spiritual chakras, right? So that would mean, if we're looking at 2D, see the artificial Eeyore? That's the red fire versus the true blue fire of spirit, okay? All right, so now we have Dagas is time, right? We said that, oh my God, see, this is my problem. See, I got all those little things that drives me nuts. I can't let it go. I'm sorry. All right, so now we said that Dagas, the walls, we are going to shoot Tiwaz, the arrow of Tiwaz at the western wall, right? But Kelly Clarkson says you need to break away. Break the scales. We stand on the scales. The scales are on the ground, right? This is the west. Okay, that's Libra. This is the east. This is Aries. Okay? I know that this is right because when you go into things like other occult teachings, like the GD, okay, they teach you that the tree of life, okay, all right, they teach you that up here is the east, because that's where the sun rises, right? So I know that this is right. Aries, that's the sun, S-O-N, okay? And, which would mean over here is the north, okay? The north is going to be Taurus. This is Tiwaz. Where I'm getting this from is the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, this is not taken directly from, because the north part on the zodiac wheel would be Cancer, the crab, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about how the energy is dispersed from the four directions. The arc archangels. Okay? The north is the bull. Okay? Taurus. This is T-A-R-O. Tarot. T-A-R-O. Over here is the south. Okay? And the south is Aquarius. So let's talk about this for a second. We always said that Aquarius, that's a symbol for water, right? Water meaning etheric water. Etheric red water, to be more specific, that has iron in it. Because the red water carries spirit being blue fire, right? Whereas you take the spirit out of the water, it turns blue because the blue water contains red fire. It's all etheric, right? So Aquarius, Rhino, the upside down Rhino. Now this is where it gets important. Remember, we talked a lot about the orientation and flipping back and forth, mirror image of the characters we draw as letters, numbers, all of it. It matters. Rhino is upside down, all right? So this is what we're getting this from the Wheel of Fortune. So I'll just do a little one right here. So that's T-A-R-O, okay? T-A-R-O, tarot. T-A-R-O-T is tarot. The opposite way, T-O-R-A, is Torah. That's interesting. So T-A-R-O. Okay? Now, back to Dagas. Or let's stick on this for a minute. So if we are going to enter the cylinder, right, from the south, then that means when we go through the southern Stargate, right, what we're passing through, you can think of this as a cylinder also, that we're flying through, a tunnel, and the tunnel we're flying through is filled with spirit, blue fire. Aquarius, that water, that's the red water that contains St. Elmo's fire, blue fire, spirit. How awesome is that? The way you get in to the south is by doing the vibrations of Rhino upside down. Rhino at the south is using our root chakra to the natural rhythm, and that's what we call dancing. Everybody cut your foot loose. Coming in here, we have spirit in us. We absorb St. Elmo's fire. Now we're inside here together, right? So we're all standing on the ground, so this is invisible, right? Now here's what's really interesting. While this structure, right, within here is Dagas, right? You can see that's an hourglass, right? Time, time, time. See what's become of me. I'll show you why that song's significant in a little while. So in the other songs, they say literally, I feel like I'm tied to the ground, or time's holding me down, okay? So, and that's because on the ground, there is a magnetic force that is holding us onto the ground. That is the scales of Libra. So what do we have to do to the scales of Libra? We break away. Break away. Stop using the scales. Okay? Break meaning stop. Break meaning destroy. Scales, the scales under our feet. We're going to use our feet today, like we used our hands to pull out the nails. We're using our feet to create a destruction of this part of the cube underneath us. Okay? Or break away. North is over here, which is the bull man. East is up here. This is the ceiling. This is the ground. Okay? These are the walls. We enter through the south. We exit through the north. Okay? Here's what's interesting. The bull man that was in my room that night when I was 3 years old, I told my mom the next day, and every time I told the story, I thought he was holding a cup of coffee. I'm like, he was drinking coffee. Well, he was holding a cup. Now I know he was holding that cup to show me that what they show on the Wheel of Fortune isn't exactly legit. They show the cup being down here at Rhino. Okay? They flip-flop this and this. All right? He has the cup up here because what happens is the water, he has the water in his cup and he pours it out. The bull man, I'm a man. This is the man that pours out the waters of Aquarius. You know, the symbol of Aquarius is a man that pours out water. I'm a man. He's Aquarius. Literally. Spirit, blue, fire. St. Elmo's fire. Okay? What we're going to do is break this puppy. We're going to break the West. All right. So, kick off your Sunday. That was a long explanation for day, but I think you see why I did it. Shus. S-H-U-S. What does that mean? Shu is an Egyptian god. Okay? When Mary first told me about I am who, I thought maybe this was it, a Shu, because Shu is a divine twin. His sister's name is Tefnut. Okay? But Shu is a god of the air. Air is what you get when you put together red fire and blue water. Right? Red fire and blue water together makes air. That's what we breathe in. That's our life force, right? That is a distortion of what we should be ingesting as a life force. Because when you do blue fire and red water together, you don't get air. You get fire water. It's something that's a little bit different, okay? All right, so kick off your Sunday shoes. Sun, the vibration of the S-O-N. Day, the vibration of basically the cage that we're in, or the false reality that we're in, and of time. And shoes, the gods of the air, the false gods of the air. We want the true gods of the fire water. That's what kick off my Sunday shoes is. Hey, Rocky's got to go out. Sorry, I'm barking orders at my family. Good Lord. All right, next. Now, this part, the lyrics are Please Louise. Okay? I couldn't find the significance of the name of Louise. So, we have Miss Thomasina in our group that everyone knows and loves. So, this part, I changed it. When you're singing it during the meditation, I want you to say, Please, Thomas, pull me up from my knees. Okay? Why do we want to be pulled up from our knees? Okay? Because the soles of our foot is the direct connection to our soul, right? That's where you want, that's the pathway of St. Elmo's fire or spirit of blue fire, okay? If you're on your knees, then that means the soles of your feet are exposed to the sunlight, the moonlight, and the air. Shu, right? That's why they call them shoes, coverings for the soul. Please, Thomas, pull me up from my knees. And our Thomasina does that every single day. I've never seen somebody with so much perseverance. Thank you, Opal Star. You're awesome. All right. Please, Thomas, pull me up from my knees. Jack, get back. Well, look at this. Remember the doll on the music box and the Jack in the box? Here he is, inside of the cube, sitting down, okay? Sitting down. We need him to be standing. Soles on the ground. Soles of the feet on the ground. Jack, get back. Come on before we crack the egg. Now, in the song, they say, lose your blues. Well, you know what? Blues, we want the blues. We're going to use your blues because blues are the blue fire of spirit. Blue St. Elmo's fire. All right? R&B, rhythm and blues, yes, please. The artificial form of rhythm and blues music is what we call rock and roll. We'll get into that next week. All right. Use your blues. You use your blues. What you do, the way you do this, okay? We talked a little earlier about you use your eyes to gaze at where you want the magnetic power to work. All right? That's why in the song Magic that I woke up singing one morning, you could do magic, you could have anything that you desire. You know darn well when you cast your spell, you'll get your way when you hypnotize with your eyes. A heart of stone can turn to clay, which you can mold with your hands into whatever you want. Here's the learning moment. When you use your eyes, which is electric, you point where you want the power to go, but you can also use it to heat something up. What would we want to heat up? Maybe a tail of a fish, so that the tail melts down into a drop of rain. Okay? So, use your blues. Okay? The St. Elmo's fire, you use it, you send it out of your eyes. I think of it as a blue laser. Okay? What does Superman shoot out of his eyes? A red laser, red fire. Use your blues to focus on the fetter that is tied around your right foot. Okay? When you do that and you hold the gaze, you think of blue laser or blue fire coming out of your eyes on that spot, and out of your hands then, as while you're singing the song, will produce the magnetic part of the electric component, which is the blue fire, to melt the fetters off. So something else I was like, duh, John. I like some of these things. I'm like, why didn't I connect this before? I'm sure there's lots of others. You guys know when you astral project, they talk about a silver cord that connects you to your body, and don't cut it because you'll drift off and then blah, blah, blah. That silver cord it's silver because it's lunar. It's the moon. It's getting picked up from your left foot dangling the soul, and that's what it is. It's a lunar cord. That's the fetters, man. That's the fetters. Guess what? I talk to people all the time now that astral project. Suddenly, that silver cord is gone. That's because they cut their fetters. That's what we're doing today. Okay, now, use your blues. Everybody cut your foot loose. Okay, then do. In between, guys, when there's music and stuff, have fun with it. Let your imagination, this is going to be fun, okay? Remember, come from the laughing place. There is no right way to do it. You want to know what the right way to do this is? However you end up doing it. This is all for you. This is all for us. There's no wrong way. The whole point is that our intentions are the same and we're in here together, which makes it powerful. You're playing so cool, obeying every rule. Now, see how I put a Rido at the end of that? Ruler. Okay, what do you mean ruler? Do you mean someone that rules over people? Yes. Or do you mean a ruler, like to measure things out? Yes, I mean that too. Okay. What I want everyone to remember about ruler and Rido, right, is the fact that you know how in when you look at the Masonic symbols, let's talk about this for 2 seconds. We have the 90-degree, right? 90-degree ruler or square or whatever you want to call it. And then we have the 60-degree compass, right? What do compasses do? They make a circle to imitate spirit, but it's really ether. What do they use this for? Well, like we talked about last week, when you take an etheric angle, which is something that is either smaller than or bigger than 90 degrees, right? Ether is a triangle. Okay? When you are able to change the degrees to 90 degrees, this 90 degrees is what we call a lock. because it locks together the magnetic and the electric. 90 degrees locks it. Okay? 90 degrees locks it. A ruler. Oh, that's why they call it themselves a ruler. Because they're using literally a ruler with a 90-degree angle that they lock things in place. Oh, well, now we know how to unlock it. And that's what we're going to do. We'll talk more about that as we go forward. All right. Dig way down in your heart. You're burning, yearning for somebody to tell you that life ain't passing you by. All this stuff, guys, whatever comes to you, whatever you feel from this music, visualize it and be in the moment, okay? The more emotion you could put into this, of excitement, happiness, and just you can't believe this is happening, but it is, and you're a part of it, and this is amazing, that's what it's about, okay? Now, here's what I want to say about this. What we're doing today, right, when we all imagine this in our minds in meditation, okay, what this does is that anything that you are thinking and feeling at the same time with other people, that is actually happening in the etheric realm in real time, okay? But the reason we go to the etheric realm is because all matter starts out as ether. Ether is something that we call subatomic particles, right? It's the water, the etheric water that turns into matter, all right? Now, the reason why, when we're talking about the hanging tree, right, the reason it's always midnight is because you want it so that the y-axis is in the dark, all right? Why do we want it in the dark? Because the day is Dagos. Dagos is time. Time is what locks us in, right? We're tied to the ground of Dagos. That's why it's always night. So where does day and night not exist? In our minds, where it's always dark, because creation happens in the dark, okay? So the idea behind this meditation is that when you meditate over and over and over again, thinking about something, doing it, repeating it, you are giving it more and more and more magnetic energy until it crystallizes. Once it crystallizes, now there are pieces of subatomic matter that fill in, and what will happen is it will manifest into matter, all right? That's why group meditations are so powerful. It's about manifesting what we're visualizing, all right? This is the first time we're doing this. We're going to go. I wanted to try this because we need to perfect it come September 21st. All right, and you'll see why. All right, but it's all about it. So if nothing, I don't want everyone to walk away from today and after we do this, be like, oh, nothing happened. I can't fly. Just believe, and after we do this, you let it go until the next time. You guys all have enough knowledge now to believe without questioning. I'm confident with that. Okay, but the idea is that we have to start somewhere, and we keep trying, it will magnetize eventually and manifest. So having said that, let's continue. I'm trying to tell you it will, so they were talking about life will pass you by. I'm trying to tell you it will if you don't even try. That's why we started doing this today and why we're shifting into doing more things like this during our class time, like I said in the beginning. If you don't even try, you can fly. Did anybody ever realize that they said this in Footloose? My jaw hit the ground. You can fly if you'd only cut loose, your foot loose. He says you can fly. We're talking about the same thing in this song as we did in I Can Fly by Rainey, Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson, Unstoppable by Sia, and all the others that we have discussed. All of it. You could fly if you'd only cut loose your foot loose. Kick off your Sunday shoes. Now here's another part that I had to change. Just because I didn't have to change this part, but I did, because we all know and love our Mary Moses, our forest fairy. So in this part, instead of saying Marie, we just say Mary. Ooh-wee, Mary, Shake it for me. You get it, girl. Now the next part, he says, oh, Milo, M-I-L-O. I always thought he said, oh, my Lord, L-O-R-D. That is something that they do in music. I see often. They will say one word, but no one ever looks it up, so they say what they think it is, and that's a trick that they use, all right? I don't know who Milo is, okay? But I don't trust Milo because I don't know that cat. So I changed Milo to my last name, which we know is safe with it vibrational-wise, okay? So instead of oh, Milo, we sing oh, Sabo. Come on, let's go. My last name, Sabo, S-A-B-O. Use your blues, blue fire. Everybody cut your foot loose. Okay, then in this next part, what we go into the part where it is, he says, cut foot loose, cut foot loose. Then he gives the instructions. This is the part that we have to be in sync together, okay? You have to, so number one is you have to turn it around, all right? Turn around, look at what you see, never-ending story. First thing to tell you, right? So we already know, though, what we're dealing with. We're on the inside of our cylinder, not the outside. So at this point, when he says you have to turn it around, everybody visualize yourself standing along the walls of the cylinder, all around the walls. And everybody is looking at the center of the cylinder, okay, equivalent to where the center of it, in the middle. And then he says, and put your feet on the ground, all right? So you have to turn it around, everyone against the wall looking at the center, and put your feet on the ground. When he says that, everyone stomps your right foot. What that does is it activates the fetter, okay? It puts energy into the fetter so that it heats it up, all right? Here's something that's hilarious. Our feet, right, have these bones that stick out of it, same as our wrists, right? We know what our wrists can do. They pull us up. But what launches us off the ground, she says in the song I Can Fly, I run and I jump and I break away. I run and I jump, stop it on the ground, okay? The reason you stop on the ground is because just like we have hammers, right, on our hands, we have hammers on our feet. But these hammers, instead of pulling us upward, what they do is they launch us upward like a spring, okay? And what so basically what that spring is caused by is a release out of the soles of your feet of St. Elmo's fire, blue fire, okay? So it goes poof, it's like a rocket going poof, just for takeoff, so poof, all right? The reason that's important, so this is hilarious. So what we used to call St. Elmo's fire, for a while we referred to it as this, and we still will for the sake of rooms, is Eeyore, right? That is what we call spirit. That is the same thing as St. Elmo's fire or blue fire, okay? When you're riding on a horse meaning your etheric twin, right? We call our etheric twin a horse. You wear something on your feet to communicate with the horse. All right, now remember, your etheric twin can't hear you, can't see you, can't anything. You have to communicate to your etheric twin, which resides in your sacral and your root chakra, right, your feet. You have to communicate with actions, right? So how do you communicate with action when you're riding a horse? Well, you kick it with your foot. And what do you have on your foot? You have a spur that looks just like this. Ain't that some shit? So, that's why we stomp our right foot. We stomp our right foot because that is where the fetter is, around that foot, okay? You got to turn it around, face the center, and put your feet on the ground. Stomp right foot. Now take a hold of your soul, S-O-L-E. Everyone visualize you picking up your right foot off of the ground and holding it, and I want everyone to imagine the fetter as coming out of their heel, all right? So see a silver cord that is going to represent the fetter that we're cutting our foot loose from, And when you hold your right foot up, like it showed the kid that, you know how they hold their leg and they jump over it? That's essentially the stance I want you in. So you're going to hold it, but instead of holding your actual foot, because this is just meditation in your mind, I want you to imagine that you are putting either your hands on either side of the fetter that's coming out of your heel. Okay? So now you guys get to see my nasty feet, because I want to show you what I mean. So I want you to do something like this in your mind. God, I can't do that. Okay? So that if the fetter's coming out like this, all right? You got to turn it around, put your feet on the ground. Now take a hold of your soul. Then, they go, okay? What you're imagining then is here comes the blue fire out of your eyes, right? And it is melting that fetter, okay? What happens when you start heating up the fetter is that silver cord, the fetter, okay, that's hanging out of the bottom. You're going to see it all of a sudden out of the bottom of your foot. It's going to attach itself to the center of the cylinder. So here, what am I talking about, John? Here's what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's our cylinder that we're all standing in together. Okay, everybody is standing around, okay, looking at the center. Okay, I don't, you guys know what that means. I don't need to draw that word. All right, so the part where it says, now take a hold of your soul, and we are focusing on the fetter. What I want us to do is to have okay. So here's the bottom of the foot. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to see that fetter coming out of the bottom of the foot. Everybody's. So you can imagine everybody's doing this in the whole room, and it's going to go into the middle. All right. In the middle, then, as it's building, okay, we are going to put a seed. Ingwas. This is the container or the seed that you put energy into in the etheric realm, and then either plant it, let it grow and develop, or you can break it whenever you want to, okay? So everybody's fetter is going to go into this, okay? Just imagine it as a 2D ingwas in the middle. When you see the fetter go into it, imagine that it's pulling the fetters out of your body, okay? While you continue to put St. Elmo's fire attention onto right at the point where it exits your body. You're heating it up with your eyes, okay? And then he says, I'm totally loose. At the point where he says loose, there's like an explosion and the music stops for a moment, okay? When you see that, the fetter cuts off, you have burned it off of your body, it's out of your system, and it is off of your body. And what you're going to visualize then is the rest of it, where you cut it off, it gets sucked into the middle. So now what we end up with is all of the fetters that were in all of us, right, is inside of this ingwas, okay? Then the next chorus is just a repeat of the same words, all right? I want everybody to imagine yourselves, again, stomping through the floor. And you can do this any way you see fit. There's no way to do this. Stomp through the floor, okay? And I want you then to go on a flight. Fly around. See yourself flying with all the other members of this class, of our group. Have fun, okay? Everybody have fun. Then at the last part, when he says, everybody cut, okay? Everybody cut, nah, nah. Everybody cut, nah, nah. Everybody cut. Everybody cut your foot loose. And then it ends at din, din, boom. That last boom at the end, here's what we want to do. when he starts saying everybody cut, everyone come back into the cylinder, enter through. You can go any way, so through the south or through the bottom now, because we made another entrance, all right? Everybody comes back into the cylinder and lines up around the walls again, all right? Standing all around the walls in a perfect circle, okay? So if you're looking at it from the top down, from up here, okay, what you see is everybody's heads like this, right? Okay, so here's what we're going to do then. Everybody is going to focus your attention again on the inguas in the center that has all of the feathers. Okay? When he's saying everybody cut, what you're going to be doing is focusing on the center, and you're going to be imagining cutting this inguas to release the feathers from your system, which is the cylinder. All right? So you start doing this, you're going to focus right here in the center. Right here in the center of inguas. Okay? Everybody cut with your eyes. And as you're doing that, everybody cut, you're going to see the feathers, or the feathers inside start to heat up. Okay? And when he says, everybody cut your foot loose, and it goes, boom, at the end, the last beat, what happens is this inguas has gained enough heat inside from all of our St. Elmo's fire, blue fire going into it, that it then needs to erupt, okay? When you have an inguas, right, or a seed that is ready to harvest, right, that's what we call, that we don't call it inguas anymore. We call it a different name. We call it Yira, okay? What essentially that is that this is a Kinas, this is part of a Thurasas, because they fix it with ice. All right, so what this is this cut down the middle. This, when you draw Yira like this, another way to draw Yira is like this, which is basically inguas with a line through it. So for the sake of ease, I want everybody to see a line drawn through it, but not like this. The way we're going to visualize it is a line like this. Here's the reason why. When you take a Yira, right, or when you take an inguas that has a bunch of energy in it, right? In this case, it's the energies of the feathers that we don't want. The feathers have 6 ingredients. Want to know what the ingredients are? Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, dark Mercury, Mars, and Venus, all contained within salt, which is really sand, like we talked about last week. Bye. Okay, that's all in there. When you cut it like this, how they normally do, right? What you're doing is you're cutting along the x-axis. You're cutting along time. That's going to put everything, so what happens is the energy, it turns into this and this, okay? Kinas and Thurasas. Kinas is the energy of Venus. Don't want it. Thurasas is the energy of Mars. Don't want it either, okay? What we do want is the inversion tilted 90 degrees. What does that look like? It looks like all of us sending energy from our eyes, right? Standing along the wall, right? So this Yira will be at eye level. Okay, the center of the room, eye level. So in doing that, you're going right to the center, it will break in the center. What that will do then is it will create, the Yira will be like this and like this. Oh, now that looks familiar. The V, we talked about that being the cup, right? The cup or the horns of the bull. That's what we want, all right? What will happen then is this one up here at the top, when we cut it, boom, it will break open. This is the breaking open. It's separating into these two. Up the top here, what happens is the energy will shoot upward, Tiwas, the arrow, and it will break the glass ceiling. Remember what we said the glass container was last week? Glass container. This could be inguas. If you overlap it, you create this, right? This is what turns into this and this, right? Okay? So we see it shoot out of the top, see it shooting however you want. I think of like a firework going straight up, and the boom it breaks the top. So now we've broken the ground, we've broken the ceiling. That's what Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the elevator, the Great Wonkavator, breaking through the ceiling, breaking through the glass ceiling, breaking through the firmament. Get where I'm going with it? So then, all we have left, when this takes it up with it, okay, what does an arrow doesn't just have a head, it has a tail also, right? Ku, ka, ar, ur. It has a tail. Okay, it's taking with it this. Okay? We don't want it. We don't need it. Thank you. Goodbye. What's left is this. Okay? The cup with everything in it that is left that does not contain the ingredients of the fetters, of which is Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, sulfur, salt, Venus, Mars. Oh, and dark Mercury. Okay? Bye-bye. With that out of our system, now we not only cut the fetters out, but we cut the ingredients out of the system. Now anything left that's hidden that we don't realize is there yet goes bye-bye too. Excellent, score. That's it. End of the meditation. Okay? What you do then is we'll sit quietly at the end of the meditation for a moment. Because what we want to do then is imagine everything that just happened in this cylinder, right? Imagine that wherever you're standing in the cylinder with everyone else doing this, that a cord now this is a good cord, a cord runs from your etheric self, right, that you're thinking of in your mind, from your heart to heart, right? How do you do that? You do that with a pulse wave. What do you mean? What is a pulse wave? Well, this is the reason why, at the end, we stand back around to do this thing. All right? When you stand around in a cylinder, okay, here's everybody's heads from the top, right? Boom, 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 boom. So, when we are staring with our eyes to a beat, right? How do you keep beat with your eyes? So in other words, keeping beat is the resetting of time, right? That's what a beat is. That's why you stay on beat, you stay in time, right? So how do you do that when you're just using your eyes? You blink. Everybody cut, nah, nah. Everybody cut, nah, nah. So when you blink is on the beat. Everybody cut, nah, nah. Everybody cut, nah, nah. Okay? And it's faster than that, but just blink once. What that does is it synchronizes the blue fire coming out of your eyes with the sound that we're singing, gives it magnetic power. All right? When we all do this and we look into the center, everyone should remember what happens next. All right? Here is the center, and then I said it shoots out of the top, which is coming out like this. Does everybody remember what happens when you have an octagram, right? Which is what we are. We're all octograms. This is what we did with St. Elmo's Fire. We anchored this in us, so we don't have to stand like that anymore. We got it in us. And if you take this octagram, right, and you put it on the surface of a perfectly round pool, right? And at each point of the octagram, you have a little tiny disc. And the little disc bounces up and down and barely makes little tiny waves. But they all do it in sync to the beat. Okay? What happens is, eventually, all of those waves add up together And when you turn this on the side, okay, this is the octave turned on the side. Okay, what happens is you generate, it all adds up, and eventually it sends a pulse wave. Remember this? The pulse from heart to heart. This is what you send back to yourself. The heart pulse, the beat of your heart. This is how you send energy. Remember we talked about laying down when you want to communicate with your higher self so that your heart syncs with your mind. They call that a brain-mind coherence. And then you can shoot from your heart to the heart of your higher self, right? This is what it is. Beat, the beat, your heart beat, the beat of the music. It's all about timing. Okay? This is the timing that breaks us away. So, you guys ready to do it? All right. So now, let's do this one more time, okay? All right, this time I'm going to play the music, and you guys go along with me, okay? We're going to do this a couple times, and then we're going to really do it. All right, here we go. I can see you. All right, hang on. My mom's doing it. My mom's coloring her hair or something. She's standing there thinking that they can't see you. You guys can't see them. Okay, here we go. This crazy thing coming. Okay, here we go.
That's it. I thought this was a party. Let's dance.
Flying through the tunnel of the south wall, right, of the cylinder. Have fun with this part, guys.
Just watch, all right?
So we're in the cylinder now. Been working so hard. So real quick, so when he says I'm punching my card is ka plus rido plus d, which is day, right? Dagas. Ka and ku are your hands. R and ur are your feet. You punch with your hands, you stop with your feet. Okay, here we go. Time's holding me down. I'll hit the ceiling. What's funny is that part in the movie when he says, I'll hit the ceiling, or else I'll tear up this town, you could hear them, it shows them all stomping their feet. I'm going to rewind a little bit. Listen to this. It shows them stomping their feet, and remember, the reason they stomp their feet is because that springs you upward like Tiwas, okay? Here we go. You hear it? Boom, 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 boom. They're stomping their feet. So most of this, guys, there's really only a couple parts we all need to do the same thing. The rest of this, have fun with it. Imagine yourself inside of that cylinder, dancing your asses off with everybody that we have been on these Saturday live classes for months and months and months now. We all know each other. We talk to each other like we're family because we are. Have fun. Okay, this is the time to celebrate. This is when we're about to take off and get ready to fly for real. Okay? All right, here we go. Please, Tommies. Use your blues. Everybody, cut your foot loose.
tell you, and I ain't a passing you by. Trying to tell you, in a way you don't even try.
You can fly. Ooh-wee, Mary. Oh, say bo. Use your blues, everybody. Okay, now, we all line up on the wall. Standing around the cylinder, looking at the center. Okay, not with Ingwas yet, just facing that way. Okay, you got to turn it around. We're facing the wall, or I mean not facing the wall. We're standing on the wall looking towards the center at each other. You got to turn it around, put your feet on the ground. Stop. So let's do that again. You got to turn it around and put your feet on the ground. Stomp. You stomp your right foot, okay? Your right foot is ur. U-R. U-R is the bull. What is the bull? The bull is tiwaz. What does tiwaz do? It launches you upward into the air. Okay? That is what activates the fetter to be cut off. So you got to turn it around, stand on the wall, look towards the center, and put your feet on the ground. Stop the right foot, ur, U-R. Now take a hold of your soul. Okay, then this part, everybody is going to pick up their right foot in their mind and hold your two hands on either side of the fetter, okay? You're going to imagine the bottom part of the fetter, okay? And this is where you got to just use your imagination. Some of it is not logical, but it doesn't matter, okay? You imagine the bottom, the fetter that's coming out of your ankle, right? You're going to stare at it then this whole time and focus on it. Don't move your eyes. No matter what happens around you, you focus on where the fetter is coming out of your heel, and you are heating it up with your St. Elmo's blue fire from your eyes while you're singing this, okay? The fetter goes from out of your heel, and then it all goes into the center, okay? This is the part. Now, I don't want you guys to look in the center. I want you guys to keep your focus on the fetter where it comes out of your heel, but just know that the rest of it is going into the middle of Ingwas in the center of the room, all right? You're not going to see that. You're going to be focused on where you're burning it with your eyes, okay? So now take a hold of your soul. You start staring. Heating up, heating up, heating. It's getting really hot, really hot. I'm totally loose. When he says, I'm totally loose, you will see the fetter break off of your foot. And you know how when you have a measuring tape where you let it go and it goes, metal goes back to the thing? It scares the crap out of me still. Imagine that the fetter that was attached to your foot now gets sucked back into the Ingwas like a metal tape is getting sucked back in, okay? And it goes, so at the same time, the rest of the fetter gets sucked, all of our fetters get sucked into that Ingwas in the center, and we are free, all right? Then what we do is when we stomped, right? When you got to turn it around and put your feet on the ground, stomp. That right foot stomping is the bull charging into the west wall of Libra. The west wall of Dagas, the ground, the floor underneath us. It breaks the floor underneath us. So now we have an opening out, okay? So I'm totally loose, fetter's gone, you fly out the bottom, and we party here until the end of the song, okay? This is flying around, having fun with your friends. You're flying. You are literally flying in the air. Feel what that is like. Like it's already happened. You are flying in the air with your friends. Everything we've been learning actually is happening. It's happening for real. That's how I want everyone to feel during this. That's the magnetism that will get applied from the etheric to the physical. Okay, here we go, the last part now. Still having fun? Okay, now, on this part, you don't have to remember what it is because you got plenty of time. When you start singing, everybody cut, that is your signal to fly back into the cylinder and line up around the wall like we were before. Except this time, we're floating, all right? And we are going to align our eyesight with the ingwas that has all the fetter energy in the middle of the room, all right? So when you start singing that, go back in there immediately, and as soon as you get in there, see everyone else standing around that cylinder wall, and we all shoot the St. Elmo's fire at this ingwas. Everybody cut, and this is the other thing, make sure you guys are singing this damn song this whole time. The singing, remember, the singing is the sound of your voice. Sound is the magnetic field. The singing is the power. Okay? The dancing is applying the power. All right? So we're not going to actually dance with this time because we're setting up the actual, we're setting up the crystallization of the etheric energy. When it comes time to pull the crystallized idea to the physical, that's when we flip the Rido over and it goes from singing to dancing. So yes, there's a part 2 to this when we manifest it in the physical, okay? So this part, everybody cut, sending blue fire out of your eyes into the center ingwas. See it heating up. Focus on the ingwas in the center. Everybody cut, keep focusing. Then, boom. That last part, what happens is the ingwas in the center cuts in half. Okay, again. The last part. We're all in the center. I'm sorry, not in the center. We're all in the cylinder. We're all floating now, right? And we're all staring at the ingwas. Okay? The ingwas needs to be eye level. Because here's what you want to make sure. St. Elmo's fire coming out of your eyes, right? You want it to go like this. Into the center, all right? And then at that last boom, when it ends, it breaks it apart. This bottom part becomes the cup down here for us, right? It's the same thing as this. And this part goes upward, breaks the ceiling. So you see the ceiling break too. All right? So everybody cut. We're back in here. Everyone's staring with their blue fire, blue lasers coming out of your eyes into the middle of ingwas. Everybody cut. Footloose. Boom. That's boom. Breaks it apart. You see a cup left floating in the middle, and an arrow shoot up and breaks the glass ceiling. Then we're done. At that point, guys, I will then anchor it. So everybody then just remain quiet in silence while I anchor it. I'll have you guys repeat a couple things to anchor it within your own fields. And that's it, man. We did it. And then I will get instructions from my guides on how to move forward next. The idea is that we keep feeding this magnetic fuel, okay? And the magnetic fuel eventually it's the same idea as if you take a wire, right? And you turn the wire around an iron cylinder, right? You keep winding, you run electricity through it, blue fire through our eyes. Eventually, that cylinder that is iron, just metal, turns into a magnet. And it doesn't need any power source anymore, right? That's the same idea as etheric energy crystallizing, and then we pull it through into the physical by doing the same thing, but actually dancing with our feet, right? The soles touch the ground. The ground is where the power comes from, okay? Lemuria is underneath us, okay? It fell into the ground. So, is everybody ready? Should we do it one more time? Let me know what you guys, if you, and I won't stop and talk this time. If you guys want to watch it one more time and just practice. You go, oh, it's a little pearl. Thank you. Okay, let's do it one more time, guys. I'm just going to let it play, okay? Now remember, if you do something a little bit different, that's okay. It's the intention. It's the intention. We all agreed on this together, right? So we'll do it one more time, and then we're going to have an intro, and I'll talk about that in a second. Let's do it one more time. I'm just going to let the song play through.
I thought this was a party!
Hang on, I forgot to change it around, Sabo. Hold on. Okay. Beginning. The beginning part, this is the key. All you have to do with the key is have the intention that you have it, okay? See it as being on your wrists or whatever, okay? You don't have to remember every single part. You don't have to remember all the details. Just know that, make the intention that you have the key on your hands or something, and when you touch the wall, it works, okay? All right, here we go.
I thought this was a party! Let's dance!
Commies. Use your blues. Mary, get it, girl. Oh, Sabo. Line up on the wall facing the center, the cylinder wall. Turn it around. Put your feet on the ground. Stop. Take a hold of your soul. Hands either side, stare at it. Giving it the blue laser fire. Heating up, heating up, heating up. I'm totally loose. The feather goes into the middle. We fly out of the bottom. We broke the ground when we stomped on it. We fly out. We're flying around, partying our asses off now, celebrating. We've worked really hard, you guys. And you guys have paid attention, and this is the payoff. Celebrate. I want everyone to celebrate this to the extent in this moment. Everybody cut. Everybody cut. Looking at the ingwas with your eyes. Heating it up. Everybody cut. Everybody cut. Everybody. Staring, staring. Boom. Okay, that last part at the end. Boom. You see the ingwas fall into two. The arrow, the top part turns into an arrow, shoots up. You can see it like as a firework if you want to. Breaks the glass ceiling. And the bottom falls down, and that's our cup. Now we can carry a cup in our hand. All right. Is everybody ready? Now, here's what we're going to do. There was something that happened last night. I was playing around with some of my my oracle cards, like my oracle cards. And let me flip this around, guys. And I pulled a dragon card, and it was a pink dragon, and it talked about this dragon helps or cuts cords. For real? So Opal Star introduced me to these dragon cards, and so what I wanted to do to clear our space and get everybody unify everybody prior to us starting this, I've asked Opal Star to lead us in the beginning meditation, to bring in this pale pink dragon to cut cords of us that have any attachments anywhere outside of us. So when you're interacting with someone, all that kind of stuff, right? So that we can focus our energy and only focus our energy at what we're doing, which is cutting our foot loose. Okay, so we're going to do that. As soon as she's done, that's going to be like the intro. We're going to go straight into this, okay? Are you guys ready? Hey, guys, have fun. We all have the same intention. I'm going to make sure it's locked so we're all in the same spot. Just make this fun. The most important part about this is your magnetic contribution, how you feel. We actually did this. You manifest things by feeling what it's like when when you think about how you're going to feel when it actually happens in the physical. That's right now. Are we ready? All right, Miss Opal Star. Let's see how we get you in here, girl. All right. Oh, look at this. Mirror your video. Now mirroring's off. I don't have to turn it around anymore. Excellent. All right. Flip camera, comment, pause live, mute microphone. Opal Star, if you know how, can you request to come live with me? Oh, wait, there. There she is. Here, she's coming out. There she is, Miss America. Can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, we can, yes. Okay.
All right.
So Thomasina, do you want to say anything? I mean, I kind of threw this at Thomasina, bless her heart, and because she's really good at it, and we wouldn't be discussing the things we're discussing today if it wasn't for her in this QHHT session she did with me. Highly recommend you do one with her if you haven't. So why don't I turn the floor over to you? You can kind of talk about what this is going to look like, and then I will put on the appropriate visual for right before you start. So floor is yours.
Okay, so anyone that knows, I pull in from the dragon realm. John, when you were telling me about the Kuan Yin dragon, quite a few of our soul family have this dragon. I have pulled it for them. So I was pulling it out of my dragon cards, and also the golden crested dragon flew out. I was like, oh my goodness, let's, go ahead and have him there too. So we have both these dragons sitting here. What I want to do today is just do a quick heart and mind ceremony, get us all connected with the hearts and soul, our hearts and our minds and our souls, get us all on the same page today. This is, got goosebumps here because this is so powerful. We're going to do that. I'm going to tell you, we're going to bring in these dragons to do this with us, because this is why they wanted us to know they're here with us, because they're here. Okay. They're going to help us with this. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kuan Yin's dragon, and then I'm going to hand the floor back over to John. So let's go ahead and do the heart and mind. So anyone that has done quantum healing sessions, group sessions with me on Monday and Wednesday and Thursday now, this is part of that, and it's also part of the quantum healing sessions. So what we're going to do is we're just going to place your right hand upon your heart, and you're going to breathe deeply, deeply in and deeply out, in through the nose and out through the mouth, and I will do the same. Just breathe in and breathe out. Feel your chest expand and your hand move up and down with your breath, and feel yourself relaxing, letting go, letting any cares of the day just fade away. Just breathe. Now, if you will, I want you to imagine that your heart itself is breathing that air in and out. Just imagine that your heart is breathing and then moving the air throughout your body. We are bringing the heart and mind into coherence as we do this. Just breathe. Each breath in and out of your heart connects you completely with your original life force energy. Each breath in and out reminds us that our deepest connection with Source and our own greatest wisdom resides within the realm of the heart space. In and out, and in and out. Your heart knows, my heart also knows. In and out. And we are aligning our energy and our hearts and our minds. Each breath in and out of your heart connects you completely with Source and completely with your soul family here in John's room right now. Now place your hands in any position in which they are comfortable and just relax again. And I'd like to tell you about these two dragons. First, you have the Christed dragon with us. He is our protection as we do this. And then we have Kuan Yin's pink dragon. So this is going to dissolve the cords that still tie you to this matrix, to others. And we're going to do this with this footloose. And you may sense or feel them releasing you completely. Just take a moment to feel the freedom when you feel those fetters cut loose from your feet and from your hands and from your heart. And these great-hearted dragons will then help you to see with eyes of love, and you look for the divine in everyone and be aware of all situations from a higher understanding, knowing that these dragons are by your side. These gracious dragons will enable you to enrich your relationships and transform your friendships. They will help you to treat all people with greater respect, care, and love than ever before. And then we always remember to thank our dragons. So, our dragons are with us, John. We're all connected with our hearts. We're ready for you, brother.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Let me turn this back around. Turn around. All right. So, all right, everybody close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. All right. Now I want everybody to see yourself standing outside of a large cylinder that is made of silver light. This silver lighted cylinder is the same silver cylinder that some of you are familiar with when you're doing a liquid light cleanse with your Maharic shields. All right, you could think of the ground and the ceiling of this silver light cylinder that you are standing in front of right now, on the outside of, as as Earth's natural energy, okay? The divine feminine energy of Earth, the true magnetic energy of Earth that they copied into silver and put on the moon. This is coming from the Earth's core, which has the new divine template, which is the octagram. The Merkaba that you send down through the Mahart shield, through yourself and back up, is the ceiling and the ground. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start the actual meditation. You guys, what I recommend is everybody to keep your eyes closed because we want to stay in the dark, right? Creation happens in the dark. I don't want anyone to worry about, oh, was I supposed to do this? Or don't worry about what comes next or anything. Okay? It's way more important for you to forget everything and just have fun. Okay? So do what you remember, and what you don't remember is going to be covered right now. Based on, as the facilitator of this guided meditation, all of the active participants do this on their own free will. Okay? When you are doing this active meditation, if so say yes after each of these statements if you align to it, if you agree with it, okay? And truly only if you agree with it. All right. What this is intended to do is synchronize our intentions, because the intentions is ultimately what's going to make things go. It's the electric plus the magnetic combined. So if you forget a little detail in the interim, doesn't matter, okay? So please repeat yes if you agree with this so we can synchronize all of our intentions together. Based on what we have learned today in this live class, I willingly agree to synchronize my intentions with the intentions outlined in today's class by John Michael. Please say yes if you agree. Yes. I am going to focus on having fun and really living in this moment in my mind all of the hours we spent learning. Every single time I felt excited about learning something new. Every single time that my mind exploded because I could not believe that some of these things are actually real. All of the times that I got so excited that my mind started racing so fast that I couldn't even keep up with it, calling other people in this group, telling other people who aren't in this group what you've learned. Because every single week of us uncovering, one step at a time, who we really are, we're earth angels incarnate. We are now going to collectively combine our intentions as outlined in this class today in order to permanently cut our foot loose. The fetters will be permanently removed and will not return. The nails and knots that we have already removed with St. Elmo's fire will also leave and never return. Please say yes if you agree to these intentions. Yes. Now we're going to go ahead and start this active meditation. As soon as the music starts, have fun, guys. Everybody see the cylinder standing in front of you, silver light. You could feel it pulses with a cool feeling off of it. Now I want everybody to see all of the other members of the class standing side by side all the way around the outside of this cylinder. And everybody take the hands of the people next to you so that we form a ring around the cylinder that stands before us. Okay, feel everybody else's energy through your hands. Feel Earth's silver energy come up through your feet. Feel your own cylinder start to form with the circle disc underneath your feet and the ceiling disc above your head. See the cylinder start to form as the silver light comes from the center of the Earth's core all the way up in through your root and creates swirling silver light all around you. You could feel your earth energy and your own spirit energy synchronizing with every single other person in this group through the connections of our hands. We are one. Our intentions are aligned, and our intentions are all for the same thing. So please say yes if you agree. Yes. Here we go. Okay, stay with your eyes closed. Okay, what I want you guys to do now is to imagine you can release everybody's hands. We're all united. You can imagine the Stargate Oracle, the key to get into this cylinder standing before us. You see it on your right wrist. You know it's there. You don't even have to visualize it because you put it there. As soon as the music starts, it will unlock the wall of the cylinder. Regardless of where you are standing around the cylinder, the south gateway will appear on the cylinder wall immediately before you. That's when you take off and fly into it, and we begin. Okay, so everybody walk up to the cylinder, put your right hand on the cylinder wall, and repeat after me. With this Stargate Oracle key, I now unlock the Southern Stargate into the cylinder of Mu. Here we go.
That's it! I thought that was a party! Let's dance! Just walk, alright?
As we finish this meditation as a collective group, we see everybody in this group floating along the silver light cylinder walls as we have broken the glass ground or the west wall of time, and we have also broken the glass ceiling of the east wall of time. We have taken down the artificial structure of distorted time that keeps us locked in this reality. We intend to keep on giving this meditation more and more magnetic power through our attention. And we do that every single time we replay the TikTok of the Footloose meditation. Every time any one of us re-listens to that song, sings the lyrics, or thinks about this meditation, we add more and more magnetic power for everybody that is collectively in this group in order to crystallize the etheric structure of the cylinder in order to make it resonate with our own cylinders, which are our chakra, our auras. So now we're going to end this meditation by saying the following. I freely intend with my free will to resonate the actions and functions and energies of the processes in this meditation I just completed with my own personal cylinder or aura. I intend to copy all of the actions we completed today in my own energy space, in my own cylinder aura. I no longer have any fetters attached to me, and I am no longer bound by the rules of time. I am no longer bound by the rules of gravity, and I anchor these intentions now and align them with my own energy field. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. That's it, guys. Okay, I got to just see real quick. I need some feedback here. You guys need to tell me what you think. I actually felt physical sensations when we were doing that. Hand clap.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So, it's already 2 o'clock. Lord, that was 2 hours we did? Oh my, see? So here's why. Now let me give you the big like explosion moment for today. The reason this was so important for us to do today is because these group meditations are how we do things in the etheric realm while we are conscious, okay? When we think of something together as a group and we synchronize our energies and our intentions, it amplifies it tremendously, so that instead of taking a wire and wrapping it around an iron cylinder, right? It's like taking sheet metal and wrapping it around. Speeds it up, right? So that means manifests faster, and it's good practice, because here's what I'm going to tell you guys now. You guys aren't going to believe this. All right, so onto the board. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy I figured out how to do this so it's not backwards. Oh, this makes my life so much easier, I can't even stand it. All right, so. Oh, real quick before and then we're done with the meditation. So I designed this so that every time you guys, if you save that, the Footloose meditation that I used, that we went over today, every time you sing it, every time you listen to it, visualize it, however you want to do, whatever brings you joy, and you repeat it, you are contributing more and more magnetic power to it, which will help it crystallize faster, okay? So go nuts, have fun with it. All right, so now here's the deal. The reason this is so important is because I know now what we are going to be doing, or what needs to be done in terms of learning this stuff. Like, what do we do with this stuff? Well, you guys aren't going to believe this. I mean, this is literally insane, okay? So does everyone remember how one of the first downloads that I remember getting, this was back like over a year ago, I would wake up sometimes and you know how like you hear yourself talking to yourself, you just think you're saying things to yourself like you're partially dreaming? Well, this was the time when I realized it wasn't me talking, because the words that were said, I don't use. There were 4 words that I heard myself say, okay? The first one, and while I heard these words, I saw an image in my mind of the Statue of Liberty, okay? The Statue of Liberty, Lady Liberty, is Libra, the west wall, the ground that we just broke, okay? The planet energy, okay, so this is the spiritual, false spiritual energy. The planet that aligns with this, or the etheric energy that aligns with this, is Venus, okay? Venus, okay, is the color copper. Just talking about the color in terms of an energy now, not real copper, okay? Just the energy. Venus is copper, and, oh, isn't that weird? What's the Statue of Liberty made of? It's made of copper. Copper turns green when it oxidizes. Green, like our heart chakra. Venus is what we call the morning star. The morning star is Lucifer. Okay? So I didn't know this until recently. Venus actually rises in the sky right before the sun comes up, so the sun follows Venus. Okay? The sun, meaning S-U-N, right, has a parallel with the S-O-N, which is also Lucifer, right? So this is why you see that God and the devil facing back to back. It's duality. So the morning star is Venus. Here's my point. The Statue of Liberty is not female. The Statue of Liberty is not male. The Statue of Liberty is male and female. Okay? Here's my point. Do you ever look at pictures of Jesus and think that he has the drawings have he has a very feminine face? That's on purpose. Statue of Liberty, masculine face, that's on purpose. It's the same person. It's the idea, you know, I've said that Odin and Freya are getting a divorce on September 21st on the fall equinox. Okay, so this is Odin, this is Freya, makes Gibo, right? If you take Gibo into its individual parts, Odin and Freya, this is the nail, we call Not, N-O-T. This is the, this is called A. That is what you take, what removes the nail, okay? So, the Statue of Liberty, here are the words that I heard. Ishtar. Lovers. Credence. Gemini, Libra. Okay, the lovers refers to the combination of Odin, or the masculine, or God, and Freya, which is the divine feminine, locked together into Gibo. Okay? Credence, we know this is the word. I don't use credence, never in a million years. Okay? It's a lie. It's a deceit, deception. Gemini and Libra, what they do, so, and then Ishtar is Isis. Okay? Here's how this works, guys. Ishtar is Lady Liberty, Libra, right? When you start learning about Ishtar in her, when she goes to war, Libra also meets up with the rune Tiwaz. Huh? Here's what they do. First of all, remember we talked last week about there being 3 levels to everything: spirit, etheric, and physical. Okay, so in spirit, for example, if Tiwaz is here at the top, right, you turn it 90 degrees, the next one. So now it's right here. Now it's at Libra. So that's how they can make a bull man look like he's the bad guy, because every time you go from one level to the next, it turns 90 degrees. So just be cognizant of that. So Tiwaz is Libra, which means they sometimes put Tiwaz with the energies of Mars, which is Aries. Now remember, we said before that when you take the zodiac, right? Here's just the stargates. This plus this makes this. Theta. This is Libra. This is Aries. This plus this, Phi. Right? Well, Theta is male and Phi is female. But this is supposed to be the girl and this is supposed to be the boy. That's where the twisting comes in, right? We talked about this before. That's why Jack the dummy turns 5 times. That's because every time he turns, it causes a knot. We got rid of those, right? That's how this and this change spots. My point is this. Ishtar or Isis, as Libra, right, is Venus, and in her warlike stance turns into Mars. The reason she can do, and when she does that, she grows a beard. Okay, a beard from a lady is one of the ingredients in those fetters. Weird. It's because she's not just a she. Okay, when we talk about any type of feminine energy that is evil, Lilith, anything that looks like the ultimate bad queen of the bad guys, the bad guys of the universe is a woman, right? Well, they want you to think that. It's not a woman. It's the man that has a really bad complex about a lot of things, right? He has the energies of the woman in him because he bound them. He locked it in to Gibo, okay? So Libra, right? When you look at statues of Ishtar, she has something in her hand. It is something she holds with her hand. It's like made out of stone, and it looks like this. That's weird. That's because this line right here underneath Libra, there's another one. It looks like this. Okay? Male and female. Here you have the mountain, here you have the valley. Okay? A and U. The letters, right? Put this together, what do you get? Oh, that's how you get phi. Okay? So my point is anything when it comes to this stuff that looks like the woman's the bad guy or the leader's, it's a man doing an illusion because he locked the energy in with him. So what am I saying? I'm saying that the Statue of Liberty is literally technology that locks the illusion into place over the land. Why is that important? The United States of America, or North America in general, right, is the location of the root chakra of the world, right? Mount Shasta, California. That means that land is where everything in the etheric first materializes as physical matter. That's why USA is so insane with everything going on, right? It's intentional. It's also why it's the power center of the world, because it's the root chakra. It's the connection of the soul to the ground, okay? Here's how this works. We have the Statue of Liberty that is on the East Coast, right? Oh my God, see now, Mary, if Mary, you're still on here, this is when the drawing did not get any better, okay, at all, like, not even a little bit. Also, I don't know if anybody's ever seen any close pictures of the Statue of Liberty, but she's standing on a box. And if you look, she has chains around her ankles underneath her. So this is the East Coast. This is in New York, right? And she's standing in water, right? So when we're talking about the United States, okay, Miss Lady Liberty is standing over here. We're just going to put her right here. Okay, in the water. And we have, this is east, west, north, and south, right? All right, well, that doesn't make any sense, John, because didn't we say that Lady Liberty, Libra, was on the west when we're talking about the zodiac, but then the cylinder thing we just did, that was the ground, right? Right. Here's what we have to do, guys. On September 21st, okay, which is my birthday, yeah, my birthday, of course it is. It's the fall equinox, okay? The 2 days of the year that are really important are the fall equinox and the spring equinox, because the way time works for the planet and everyone that lives here on it, whatever happens on this day, okay, so the collective intentions of this day is what creates the way time looks for the next 6 months. So every time there's an equinox, when there's the same amount of night and day, it allows a portal to open because you're in the eye of the needle. Mary talks about this all the time, right? Same time, night and day, at that moment, whatever intentions in the collective are going is what defines what time looks like, all right? Going into the winter, it means there's more dark. What I think we could do is this fall equinox, we can, throughout the winter time, then where there's more dark, gives us more time to create the new Earth. All right, but first we have to break the scales, right? Break away. The scales of time. So west, east, north, south, right? So we broke the ground west and the ceiling east, right? So this is Lady Liberty down here, all right? So in other words, Footloose, what we just did, we have to do the same thing. And we can get rid of the control she has over us, keeps us locked to the ground, keeps everyone, basically when we're talking about the collective, we're talking about being locked in this reality, right? Well, we can break away, break the scales, break through the floor. How do we do that if she's over here and it's in the east and west? I don't get it. You better sit down for this. All right. Here we have the USA. Okay. West, east, north, south. All right. We're talking about the Statue of Liberty, which means we're talking about Ishtar, and we'll just call it male and female. Okay, we're referring to Odin or the head Anunnaki bad guy, Lucifer, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I'm just going to call it the bad guy, the male, who has crossed himself with the divine feminine female in order to utilize her powers as he sees fit by force. Okay. If that's the case, and we said that the two of them locked together was Gibo, right? Then that means the male, or Mars, is A, and the female, of course they gave the female the bad guy, is not. Okay? A is the removal of the nail, not is the nail. Okay? Venus is not the female, Mars is A, the male, right? The two of them put together gives you this, which is the life force energy of salt, but it's the false life force, right? You take out the center part then, so that, because they don't give any life force away for free, what do you get? You get Gibo, okay? So that's what the TikTok I made about this with the divorce, it showed Gibo, okay? How do you divorce? When you take Gibo and you cut it apart, you don't cut it apart like this, because that gives you life force. You cut it apart how we just did. You cut it apart through the center. Okay? Now, that might still look like Gibo, but it's not. I mean, Eeyore, but it's not. Because what it is an arrow going through it, and it leaves you with this plus this. That's what we want. Now, John, we still are not following what the heck you're saying. What do you mean? Okay? Hang in here with me. So, if the male bad guy, right, is A, and the female is not, right? Female is magnetic and male is electric, okay? That means the female is, a different color here. So the female, Venus, or not equals y-axis. And then the male, or A, because he wants to act like he's the good guy. This is how they do things, right? They make someone do the bad stuff, and then they set it up, and then they come in and they're the rescuer. Yeah, haha, very funny. We know that trick. So the female is the y-axis, magnetic, and the male is the x-axis, okay? Here's how this works, guys. First, if you take the female and you plot her on the y-axis, what we need to do is we need to expand. So it's not just America. We're going to expand it to all North America. It's all land that touches each other, okay? So we've got this. Okay, this is, you know my drawing, so just use your imagination. Okay? So up here with Canada, okay, right here, USA, and then we're going, for the sake of just ease, I'm cutting this off right here before we go into South America, okay? Why do I do that? Because South America has a different name, so it separates. All right, so then this is Mexico. All right. North America, all right. If we're talking about the female or Ishtar part of the Statue of Liberty, we're talking about the y-axis. What does that look like? Well, if we take this thing, we do this. Give her a little do. This is the energetic or etheric projection of the Statue of Liberty, the female on the y-axis, the magnetic axis. We said that she was not, right? The male. So her hands touch Alaska, New York, and feet are in Florida and California, okay? Why are the hands and the feet important? Right hand, left hand, right foot, left foot. Ku, ka, ur, ar. Those are her hammers and nails, okay? These locations are important when it comes to energy of the land and what it contributes to the whole, all right? Then, if we plot Odin, or the male bad guy, on the x-axis, we get this. Now, the x-axis, we're going to just talk about the United States. Okay, this is where countries divide up. So you think of big, and it goes smaller, right? So we're just going to talk about the United States because that's where the outline of the root chakra is. So we put him, so it goes like this, and A, head, left arm up here in Washington, right arm down in Texas, left foot in New York, right foot in Florida. So now we have the male x-axis electric energy, right, of Mars, the left foot which absorbs from New York, all right, and we have the feminine Venus with the left hand on New York. So she is extracted from that and then giving it out at Alaska. And then we have the right foot, which is the output of the male, and the left foot, which is absorption from the female. Okay? And then the hands we have here in Washington and Texas. Here's my point, guys. This is what the Statue of Liberty does energetically. Okay? It creates a factory of energy that at specific points of the land, right? Lands go connect with gods, right? Mary talks about this a lot. Those specific points are energy portals, which is why you see things that you do in these places. For example, okay, there are, so let's talk about her for a minute first. Her right hand is in Alaska, which is push or hammer. Her left hand is in New York, where she pulls the energy from. Her right foot is on the San Andreas Fault in California, which is where she pushes. And the left foot is in Florida, where she pulls from, okay? Then we talk about dude, all right, Mars. His right hand is in Texas, where he pushes. Do they push a lot in Texas with toxic masculinity? The left hand is in Washington State, pulls energy. This is real close to Mount Shasta, which is why he pulls from here, all right? Then the right foot, he pushes to Florida. Oh, so we got a lot going on in Florida. They suck energy out of Florida, and they also push energy in. Maybe that's because some of our most powerful divine feminine incarnate humans live in Florida, namely Opal Star and Mary Moses. And the left foot pulls from New York. Okay, so we've got a couple places where they overlap, which I call power nodes. All right, power nodes is where they're touching the same spot. So it's what I'm talking about with a power node is her plus him gives you this. These power nodes is where there is a lot of etheric energy from them, distorted etheric energy swirling and available for their utilization, which is why you see things a lot more wild in these areas. Okay? So these power nodes are as follows. Okay. Number 1, New York. Number 2, Florida. Number 3, let's see. Okay, so here's an interesting part. There is the left hand, right hand. Oh, okay. If you extend her hand, okay, past New York, like we get up right here, right? This is a site where there's a lot of disappearances randomly. That's what they call the Bermuda Triangle. It's where Atlantis went down under the sea. Atlantis was on this side in the east. Mu or Lemuria was on this side in the west. Okay. Anyway, that was just a little whatever. Okay, and then the Bermuda Triangle is another power node because their hands meet there and it extends out. Bermuda Triangle, and then the last one is Illinois. Huh? Illinois? What do you mean? Okay, well, here's what I mean. We're talking here about energy that goes from the etheric and how it appears in the physical, right? So we're talking about our lower 3 chakras, root, sacral, and solar plexus, right? All right, so she's the magnetic energy, he's the electric energy, so it's going to be where they intersect. Oh, look at this. Her sacral chakra crosses right where his solar plexus is. While this isn't to scale, when you put it to scale, this is what we call Illinois. Illinois is their still point. Okay, Illinois is the center part of Gibo or Dagas or the eye of the needle or the still point or the portal, all of that, right? That's why when the total eclipse of 2024 on April 8th, 2024, when there's a total solar eclipse with the moon, right? It crosses in an area in Illinois, and the place on the land where it crosses in the sky over is called Little Egypt. I can't make it up. Look it up. Here's what's interesting about that. Illinois, in terms of the rules that they play by, right? Obey the rules, like Footloose said, within the lines of Illinois, then that means the people that are in Illinois can then contribute into the eye of the needle. Guess who was born in Decatur, Illinois, on September 21st, the fall equinox? I still live in Illinois. I live in a town called North Lake. Okay, so here's what we need to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm asking for as many of you as want to do this. This is what it's all about, guys. Okay? What we need to do is we need to bust out the west wall of time, of Dagas, of Lady Liberty. We need to take the Statue of Liberty down energetically. How the hell do we do that? Here's how. All right. This is so awesome. I can't even stand it. Okay. And I'm grabbing my notes so I don't forget something. Hang on 1 sec. Okay, I know what I'm just going to draw. All right. So here we have Statue of Liberty in the east. Right? All right. And then we have right here. East, west, north, south. All right. All right. So now explain this to me, John, because Lady Liberty or Libra is on the west on the zodiac wheel, right? Cancer, Aries, Capricorn. Remember, this is this, but it's this also, has this on the bottom side. If you take this is the alpha, this is the omega, right? Alpha can be drawn like this, or a fish pointing this way. The omega is what we call this, or a fish pointing this way. The way we draw this etherically to impact the energy with our minds is draw it so that ether is responded to it. That's with triangles, right? So a fish or omega pointing up is this. This is what we call Othila or Othala. That is the rune that stands for property. That's what they call us, property. The fish. That's the fish that we have. That's the southern fish. All right? Omega. Omega or Libra. Then we have Alpha, which is the fish facing the west. The fish facing the west, which is the same as drawing it like this, right? Which is Alpha or Aries. Okay, fine. Now what? We talked earlier when we did Footloose, we were in a cylinder and boom, juggles. Our cylinder, this was west, this was east, this was south, this was north, right? What did we do? We took out the scales, we also shattered the ceiling. That means taking out east and west. So it has to be something on the x-axis, right? How do we do that? What do you mean? And also, how the order, the sequence is important. What did we do first? Well, they showed me you shoot the Tiwaz arrow at the west wall of Dagas, all right? So that's fine. So here's Dagas in here, right? The west wall is down here. Shoot out the floor. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to shoot arrows at Lady Liberty by pointing the arrow down at the ground. That makes no sense, John, at all. Well, actually, it does. Because here's the catch. On the fall equinox, September 21st, when the sun makes the same amount of day and night, right? What happens is that it rises in the east and it sets in the west, okay? We're going to be at the same, and we want to do it as we're going from day to night, because that's we're entering into the dark period, right? So this is going to be at sunset. At sunset, the sun is going to be in the sky over here, right? Getting ready to go down. Okay? That means that it will be shining on Lady Liberty from the west, which will put her shadow right here behind her in the water. Now we can shoot an arrow down at the ground. We shoot the arrow at her shadow. That takes the west wall down. When the west wall comes down, there is a chain reaction that shoots upwards at the east. She's over here. There's something else over here that represents Aries. I haven't done research yet because I just put this together literally last night. Okay? The reason they put Lady Liberty in the water on the east coast is because when the sun comes up, sun rises in the east, right? Throughout the day, Dagas, time, the Lady Liberty's shadow extends over the entire land. Just like today when we joined hands and the energy was all connected, the land's all connected. Shadow goes this way. She's in control. Copper. What is copper? Venus. What is Venus? The morning star. What is the morning star? Lucifer. Okay? Where is she at risk? She's at risk in her shadow, because the shadow does not contain the light that is encoded in the sun, S-U-N, by the sun, S-O-N. That's why you take off your Sunday shoes. Okay? We visualize from Illinois, the still point, which is where I'm at, and I join together energetically with everybody who wants to do it with me, and I shoot the arrow west for it to land in the water on the Statue of Liberty's shadow. Does everybody find it really kind of weird that all of the smoke fogged up New York worse than anywhere else so that it blotted out the sun so there was no shadow available? And it was also an orangish, copperish color, wasn't it? So, that's the deal. There's a lot more details to it. I have all of the notes for this in the handout for this week. Okay, this is an example of what I'm talking about with some of the technicalities on those notes in the handout. Okay, what it is. Okay, love you. What it shows is how I figured this out. All right, the way, basically, where it comes from is what we did last week. Okay, what did we do last week specifically? The Wheel of Fortune. All right, Wheel of Fortune. Here we have the wheel. Okay, T-A-R-O. Okay, then what it shows on the Wheel of Fortune is it shows here. It shows how they create the artificial elementals: sulfur, mercury, and salt, which is really sand, like we said, right? So over here is the salt, okay, or theta. Over here is the sulfur, okay, which ends up having two forms. This is the dry powder, which is yellow. This is the oily liquid sulfur, which is red, okay? This is the orange sand that contains it, which is Venus, okay? And then up here, we have Mercury in the north. Down here, so those are the three elementals. The way they get those elementals is by putting at another layer in the bull. The bull is Tiwaz. Okay? Down here, guess what this goes down here? You can't make this up. Aquarius. The south gateway, the way in. Same thing as Lemuria says. They get all of this from Lemuria. All of it. The more I study about Lemuria, I'm like, oh, all of it. All of it. Okay, this is Rhydo. TR, exactly what they showed me on Bell Rock. Tiwaz and Rhydo. Comes in, here is, so this, ER, that's their false life force. The real life force is this, Aquarius. The man, the bull man that holds the cup. Just like the guy in my room was holding a cup, okay? So, Tiwaz, there's several ways to draw these runes, and they change their names when you change the shape of them, okay? This is a big secret with runes. Tiwaz can also be drawn like this, like the one. Rhydo, right? Rhydo down here, and I'm going to draw it upside down because that's how it shows. Rhydo can also be drawn like this, exact opposite of Tiwaz. Put these two together. So, and then there's a rune that looks real similar to that Tiwaz, okay? And that's the rune that we call Lagoose, which is blue water, okay? That's how I know this is blue fire, Tiwaz. That's blue fire, then this, the opposite of this, is this. That is red fire, okay? Which means this is red water. It all works out, you guys. It all works out. This is how they do it. I show how you use the runes and do all the stuff little by little. And here's the gotcha. Okay, we're not going to go into it, and this is going to be the end. But here's what we're going to go into. We're left at the end with a cup, right? Hazy shade of winter. Carry a cup in your hand. Your left hand. Ku, fish. Okay, fine, I get it. But now what? Well, there's a little bit more to it. This cup that you catch your fish back with. You have a cup that looks like this, right? What if I told, okay, so here, I'm not going to even, okay, so here's what needs to happen. We have our southern fish of Pisces, right? This fish, what it represents is half of our spiritual self. The other half of our spiritual self, or the divine feminine, right, is locked in Gibo, all right? We need to get that back. What it looks like when it comes back is this. Okay, this is the north fish, this is the south fish. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so if we redraw the cylinder, okay, south, which is really west, right? So this is the west down here. That's the name. The direction is south. This is how confusing it gets. It's ridiculous. The south is this. What is this the same of? Omega. Oh, that's Libra. Okay, that checks out. What about this? This is the east, right? Or the north. The north, what is this? Oh, it's the northern fish. The north, what did I say the north was? Tiwaz, or the bull. It all checks out. It all checks out. This is the southern fish, or the northern fish. This is what we're interested in getting back, okay? So in this cup, Okay? What do you put in a cup? You put water, etheric water, red water, okay? Which is Rito or the opposite of Tiwas, okay? That goes in this cup. All right. When you have red water in the cup, the fish can live in there, okay? The fish needs water. When you look at the pictures of the fish, I drew this earlier, right? They're tied together at the tail, and it looks like this. The feathers are shaped like the force that needs to be used that cuts them. That's what we just did with ourselves. We're not done cutting feathers because this fish has feathers on its tail. Why does it have feathers on its tail? Because of the principle of Prince Rupert's drops. So how do we melt the tail into a rain, R-E-N, rain, the main character of Footloose, right? To be indestructible, unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. Brakes. What you do is you heat it up. How do you heat it up? With your eyes. The electric from your eyes, the fire, blue fire from your eyes. You melt this into this so it's unstoppable, like Sia says, okay? Guess what? This whole thing with we need to not pull too hard because the tail, because we'll explode ourselves. Well, remember what I said about etheric beings last week? Etheric beings can't create anything on their own. They can only copy something and then distort it and change it, right? So when you see people that spend all this energy on just doing something a backwards way or just copying it and then making it their own, it's because they don't have any creativity. Creativity is the blue spirit of St. Elmo's fire, okay? That's why when you see all of these stories about the creation story, right? If here's the water, right? How do they show God? They show him like this. They show him above the reflection of water, right? He's got a hat like this. He's got a beard like this. He's sitting here thinking he's cute. He's got his arms like this, right? And so what this forms is what we learned last week. The part that's in the air, shoe, right, forms remember that? That is the tail of the arrow. So he's the tail. Tail in the south where you enter, all right? And then his reflection in the water, right? Why water? Because ether represents spiritual, energetic water. And here is his reflection. And look what that makes. Now you have your complete Merkaba, which makes the circle, so they fool you into thinking it's spirit. Okay? Guess what? Because of this, because all they could do is copy and distort, I thought to myself, well, if they copied off of this fish, and they obviously did, because remember where I said the northern fish of Pisces is hidden? It's hidden in Aries. This is the spiritual, but where they carry it then is the etheric. The etheric is Mars. So we need to get rid of Mars. How do we get rid of Mars? All right, well, if the northern fish of Pisces is trapped in Mars, here's something I found out. Uranus, right? So when you have Aquarius, okay, this is Rito. This is the water that the bull man has in his cup, okay? This is Rito, like this. The planet for Aquarius is Uranus, okay? This can also be drawn like this. That is the symbol of Pisces. What gives? Well, if you take the moon, the full moon, and in the form of what we call Venus. Okay. I think remember how I said I don't think all the planets, there are planets, but they're not in the sky as little dots that look like stars. These planets are position of the sun and the moon and dark Mercury. That's it. Uranus becomes Venus in Pisces. Venus in Pisces. Okay, what does that mean? That means that it is, we'll get into that later. Another way to draw this, though, so I thought to myself, if this is the full moon, then the sun has to have a representation, right? So if this form of Uranus incorporates Venus and the moon, right? Venus being right here and the moon being right here, then there's got to be a counterpart, right? There is a counterpart way to draw Uranus different. It is like this. The sun, right? Opposite of the moon, and then we need to have Mars, right? That's another way to draw Uranus. Tiwaz, the sun, S-U-N, the true sun, the bull. So, I was talking about how this information not only allows us to take off our tail and put us back so we're invincible, but they copied this some way. How did they do it? I'm going to show you right now. The tail is the weak part, right? The tail is the weak part because the guy above the water is the tail. He's the weak part. All right. Last thing of the day. I'm going to leave you with this. I have said before, we live in a pyramid, right? Well, okay, so here is the firmament, the egg that we live in, ice. All right? Within that, enclosed, we have, or over it, I'm sorry, we have this. We have the pyramid. Okay? Following the harmonic intervals of the phi vortex, or the Fibonacci vortex. This is the bad creation vortex that we call phi. Okay? It's the lunar feminine. Okay? If you start marking the, I'm going to move this down a little bit so you guys can see. All right, so we're going to redraw this so that there's the pyramid on the outside of it. Here is the firmament inside of it, that's the ice wall. And here is the land. That is a disk, okay? Same thing as the ground of the cylinder. Think of it the same exact way, okay? Up here, we have 1 to 1. Then here we have 2 to 1. And here we have 3 to 2. Then here on the land, we have 5 to 3. 5 to 3 is maximum resonance. That's where inertia sets. That's where everything materializes, okay? So let's talk about these three things up right here real quick. Up here, we have something called Polaris, okay? Polaris receives energy from the distortions that are sent over from Sirius A and Sirius B, the dog star, okay? Why is Polaris look like a Merkaba? Because Merkaba has 8 points, 6 points on 2D, 8 points on 3D, okay? What are those 8 points? They are the ingredients of the fetters that we just cut off. No kidding. Okay, let's see what else. Mercury, sulfur, salt, dark mercury. Okay, real cute. So I got it. Now they have a source of energy that converts the true elementals into artificial elementals. Okay, then 1 to 1 goes down to here. Do you guys remember me talking about something that I called the black umbrella? Okay? When the sun shines, we'll shine together. A, the male, A. Okay, here's what happens. The black umbrella is, well, first of all, we have the all-seeing eye here, right? We discussed this last week. All right, here's the all-seeing eye. All right. We talked about how we got how it got there. I won't review that, but here's the deal. Here is the black. So if you have the umbrella, right? We're talking about this. The black umbrella has 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you draw it looking face down, it looks like this. Okay. Oh, you said 6, John. Yes, I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the middle. This is the part of the umbrella that is the handle, okay, like this. Okay, comes out of here, down. That's what this is right here, okay? The eye, this is the sun, S-O-N. Are you guys seeing this yet? So when you look at, so if you take the all-seeing eye, right? What are we talking about? We're looking for dark mercury. There's dark mercury. Dark mercury is the invisible energy that is also the black umbrella, that takes energy that's distorted from the artificial elementals and takes it and rains underneath. Okay, that's why sometimes you see rain coming from underneath the umbrella. That's the rain that we get. Okay, this is dark mercury that creates the eye. Okay, there it is right there. Why is that important? Well, guess what? And then just as an FYI, I'm not going to go into it, but the 3 to 2 is the sun and the moon. Okay, and then 5 to 3 is the earth. But here's why that black mercury on the all-seeing eye is so important. Okay, the all-seeing eye, where it resides in the sky, is it is in between the walls of Gemini. Okay, Gemini, you know, is their machinery that does all this stuff, right? So if you have the all-seeing eye here in the middle, and then you draw in the part of the all-seeing eye that gives it its power, which is dark mercury. Okay? You now know where their soft spot is. The cup that is overturned, right? Here's dark mercury, right? This is the umbrella, Ella, that rains. When you flip it upside down, though, it becomes a cup, right? The Holy Grail, the fake Holy Grail. And you turn it to etheric, it looks like this, right? Okay, now we cut the fishy tail off. We cut that bitch off too. The cup of dark mercury is the tail that has the same vulnerabilities. So we get our arrows out and we do some shooting. Okay? What's left then? After you cut this off, what's left is a cup that has nothing in it anymore, so it disintegrates. Bye-bye. No more magnetic source of power. And then what are we left with? We're left with the ingwas, or the 4 forces of true magnetic power, the real archangels that have been trapped by dark mercury inside of Mars, and it releases the fish of Taurus. That's what we got to do, guys. So then the last thing I'm going to leave you with, and we're going to start off next week. All right. So if dark mercury is like this, right? And this is the fishtails that we have to cut off right here, right? That means we have to cut off this part of the cup, right? All right. But Dark Mercury doesn't sit like that in the sky. It sits like this. Well, what do we call an upside down cup? We call it a bell. That's why they have all these bells in church, at holidays, jingle bells when Santa Claus comes to town. The bell is the same thing as the cup. The cup holds water. The bell creates magnetic power through sound. How do you turn a cup into a bell? You turn it upside down and you shoot an arrow at it that has real spirit, okay? So remember when we were talking about the sun's rays, what it really looks like, what the arrow should really look like is this, right? So this is spirit, okay? Inside of this is the four forces. Then you have a fire and a water, but it's blue fire and red water. So you shoot it and it comes this way, right? So what happens if we shoot it upwards at the bell, like Katniss does from the ground, shoots it at the top of the tree and breaks down the bell. We shoot it up like this. Well, now we have the bell's clapper in it. It's called a clapper. Clapper. Clap with your hands. Thunder. And then from there, it goes forward. And it's just so awesome. And it all of it is all connected to what we just did today with Footloose. So if you guys liked this, I invite you to come back, because every week from here on out, it's going to be all about do. We're going to contribute our intentions into a seed where we are going to water it and make it grow every week. You can contribute as little or as much as you would like. And we are going to count down until the fall equinox. But in between that time, there's another important date, which is the summer solstice. That is on June 21st. What is so important about that is this. So now, part of next week's class, what we're going to do is we're going to talk not only a little bit more about this process with the arrows and it. So let me clarify something for anybody that's here that didn't see last week. So arrows, when I'm talking about, I'm not talking about harming anybody with arrows as a weapon, okay? In the song Unstoppable, right, which is what we're trying to do, take that fishtail, turn it into an unstoppable raindrop, right? She says, I'll show you how strong I am. I'll put my armor on, show you how strong I am. Show you, I'm going to do. Lead by example. Armor. Armor is what you put on to protect yourself from physical harm, okay? R, M, Mu is so one way to Mu, Lemuria, the symbol for it was a rectangle. So that's why they turned it on its side and turned it into Gemini. It's their source of power. It's all Lemuria, okay? And then, so Mu is actually M-O, because the O is you take a U and then you put upside down. That's why you get U with this, okay? So it's another distortion. And then R, right up, okay? R means arrow. Mu means motherland or love. And this is Rito, the natural beat of the earth. What this is an arrow that pretty much looks like this. Okay? It's an arrow of love that you use through words and your eyes. All right? An arrow of love, and you get rid of that one, that R, amor, love. So what I'm talking about is sending arrows that have the right composition, okay? The right composition has spirit attached to it at the tip, okay? This is not air, this is fire and water, blue fire, red water, which is not air together. It's fire water. It's a plasma energy, a kind of etheric energy that's in between. And this is spirit, okay? And so we're talking about shooting it into dark Mercury, which is we're considering a bell. I used to call it an umbrella, right? Same shape. And that's how you get the clapper of the bell that looks like this. It's the end of the arrow that we use. Mary said my name was who, H-U. Another name for who was Eros. Another name for Eros was Logos. Another name for Logos was Cupid. Who alone is the power of magnetic power through sound, okay? If you put the love back into it, who becomes its original form? Mu, Lemuria. So when you hear people talking about who, okay, or me when I say it's who, what that is the part. It's the mind or the electric. What you're missing is the magnetic or the love, the power source, right? So who turns into mu? Mu is literally. So this, the northern fish of Pisces, that's who. I was born with my northern fish of Pisces based on the vibrations of my name combined with the electromagnetic energies that I was imprinted with the zodiac stars, constellations, and planets, the time and place I was born. Okay? But you need to put that fish and combine it with the other fish, which is like this. Okay? When you combine the two of them together, what you get is the number 8, the octagram that we did with St. Elmo's fire. Okay? This is who, this is mu. Oh, look at that, the upside down fish. That looks awful like a bull man. My etheric twin, instead of it being a horse, it's the bull man upside down. My legs are the horns. But anyway, we'll get into that later. So, everyone is trying to get their who back. All right? The wisdom of this knowledge that they wiped our memories out with. Okay? What does the wisest animal say? An owl. Who? But it's not the only animal that says who. There's another animal that says who, 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 who. The monkey. You hoo hoo. I want to be like you hoo hoo. I want to walk like you, talk like you too hoo hoo. Why is that monkey saying that? That monkey is an orangutan. It looks kind of like this. Okay? The monkey. You want to know what a monkey really stands for? Monday, right? Monday is named after the moon. Moon key. They told me I was the moon key. What represents the moon right now? The bull horns. But let's go back to this. Does anybody see Donald Marshall? He said that the vril parasitic reptilians that literally take over people's consciousness, okay, they look like orangutans. They're about as smart as a chimpanzee. Okay? That is where the lyrics of I want to be like you, I want to walk like you, talk like you, too, hoo. It's a real reptilian. That's what the moon key is. What do reptilians have? Scales. They tried to get me there a different way by giving me that whole line of thought. We can get into this another time because it goes into basically the way I figured this out. When you look at the triangle of the nail where we are, right? Here's who, here's a man, and what is down here? Vril, or ape, A-P-E, okay? Who, which is me, man, which is the bull, and then the ape. This is how we came from apes. We didn't come from apes. They're not apes. They're reptilian. That's why we have part of a reptilian brain. It's also See where the vril is at, the reptile? Down here at the south, on the bottom, where the scales are, that we took out. So it's the same idea. I'm exhausted, but this was awesome, you guys. Thank you guys so much for everything. You guys all stayed in here the whole time and more people came on. Amazing. There's still so much more. I literally work on this stuff all week, guys, all week. I wake up every night and I keep paper by my bed and I write it all down. I mean, I literally do this all the time. So there's going to be a lot more. Check out the stuff that I posted that is connected to this class. What we're going to focus on next week. I still didn't tell you guys about how the elementals are connected with the pyramid, so we'll get to that eventually if we can. It's more important right now that we focus our attention on actual magnetic power with these meditations. So thank you guys all so much. This is awesome. Every single one of you guys are awesome in doing this, because this is it, man. This is literally it. Every time you guys re-listen to that song or sing that song in your head or anything, you're putting more power to it. We'll talk about that as things come up. You can expect another group meditation next week of something else amazing. So thank you guys so much. Questions, shoot me a message on Messenger or on the whatever. I'm like literally brain dead. So everyone have an awesome Saturday. We continue next week. And buckle up, because it's going to get really, really interesting from here. So love you guys. See you guys soon.